All right, so today we're going to talk not from Living Hope's point of view, but from Rocky Mountain High School's point of view. So there's a lot of fairly new faces actually when I look around, and we might not all know our history with Rocky. So Rocky Mountain High School is supported by 19 congregations along the Front Range, all the way from probably Greeley all the way down to Pueblo. And so those schools help support Rocky and make it a little more affordable for kids to go here. Living Hope's a little bit special, right? We're a very symbiotic relationship with Rocky. It's been, I don't know, 10, 12 years probably since we kind of a little bit joined forces. Back in the day, we used to be up in Brighton, and we shared Pastor Chad Walton. So he worked both at Living Hope as our pastor and at the high school as the pastor. And ever since we started that, we've really been kind of a joined ministry. And that's continued on to this building project. That we would not be in this building, and Rocky wouldn't be in this building if it weren't for both of us. For both Living Hope's ability to help fund it, and for Rocky's ability to really help fund it. And that got us to where we are. And so we've been joined at the hip for a long time, and it's been, from my perspective, a super wonderful thing. So what we want to talk about today is the next phase of building. So if you've been with us for about 5-6 years, that was the last time we built something, which was this building right here. We actually bought this 23 acres of land and built this building. Just to clear things up, we have our own building campaign that we're going to talk about later on this year to build our own church building. But today we're going to talk about the high school's next step, which is building a gymnasium. And there's a quick picture up here, but just since we're in the facility and we're at the site, it's going to go essentially on the other side of the salt mine. That's where the building will go. The goal here is what you see up there. So somewhere between 15 to 20,000 square foot building, with the idea of having a couple courts that can run parallel and one main court down the normal side or the full length of the building. Space for stage, space for 3 volleyball courts, and depending on what you see on the left side here is they've set 3 different goals. Kind of a minimum goal to build, and then 2 higher level goals to be raising up money. The minimum goal is $2.5 million. As of today, we're only 1 to 2 weeks after getting into the actual campaign itself, but we raised about $1.2 million so far. So we're roughly halfway to the minimum goal. So when we hit that minimum goal, that gives us enough money to do all the earthwork, which is really expensive. Put in all the utilities, all the infrastructure, and to put up the basic gymnasium. It gets you a court. It wouldn't be a wooden floor court, but it gets you a basketball court. It gets you the basics for a gymnasium. The next goal up there, I just got close to my eyes are so bad. $3.25 million. That's where it starts to improve. I'm not getting away. Get you a wood gym floor, and then some more stuff on the front side of things. And then the final goal is $4 million, where we think that would get us pretty much everything we would want. And this will, maybe we can leave this up afterwards and you can take a quick look. There's actually also printouts out front, I believe. And I should point out the principal of the high school, Rick Wilson, is coming back also. He's happy to answer questions about this. Deb Ramsey, I saw here, she's out back, but she's also on the Capital Campaign. And of course, Nicole's on the Capital Campaign. So we'd all be happy to talk to you about it. And if you would love to contribute or want to contribute, there's a couple ways you can do it. That's a little QR code you can scan with your phone, or take you there. You can also just go to RMLHS.net, and there's very easy on there to donate to the campaign. But I guess the last thing we want to say is Nicole and I are huge believers in Rocky. We've always loved it as a school from the first. We've been tied as a church to Rocky, but the first day Ethan went there and going to his events, it's just been a really cool place for us. So, I don't know, we're huge believers in Christian education and in the high school itself. And we really want to see it succeed too. So if you have the ability and the interest and want to contribute to the campaign, please do so. It's going to be a huge benefit to the school. One of the toughest things about the school right now is finding gym space. Kids travel 30, 45 minutes each way just to do practice. And there's not a lot of gyms in this area. So if we had our own gym space for basketball, volleyball, for big events, even for our entire Synod congregation, right? We rent churches to host things like Reformation services. So if we could have our own place for the entire Synod on the Front Range, that'd be a cool thing too. It's kind of like a magnet area for us to all pull together as a bigger church platform.
And it's local, right? So it's something for all of us to enjoy. So that's something for the community as well.
Yeah, this would be something that definitely be open to the community also. You honestly don't make a huge amount of money renting out spaces like this because of the utilities costs and the cost of janitors and things like that. But it does give you people to the doors, and that's a big deal for us. So, any questions we can answer for you about the capital campaign? Okay. Yes.
So is the floor actually going to be small?
No, it's a I don't know, it's a synthetic floor at the base price. So it's a floor designed for humans. So it's a synthetic floor that I'm sure you probably recognize it if there's notice attached to it. The hope is we get to a wooden floor.
So at least the next level.
Yeah, the next level up. But nonetheless,
there was some, I remember hearing something more on, but some of the initial utilities were more benefit than most of the things built for.
yeah. Maybe is the answer. So the question was, when the high school, if we do these two building projects in parallel, is there benefit to doing them in parallel? And the answer is maybe. We've had some initial discussions between our building team and the high school building team to try to understand. Is there ways that we can save money by the way we run the water, by the way we run the utilities and sewer? And it's not 100% clear yet. The assumption as of today is they're separate, and we're not trying to benefit off of each other necessarily. If both of our capital campaigns succeed and we actually go forward building, we'll have some much more serious conversations about it. And to say, is there ways that we can help each other out and try and save money? It's just like, so it's not a satisfactory answer.
No, that's true.
It's a maybe.
But it's not ruled out.
It's not ruled out, and discussions are.
And then the second thing was, where is things with the city, right?
Yeah, so the question is where are things with the city? So we have turned in what's called a pre-application process. So from the high school perspective, we turned in some initial drawings. And the reason this is really important is the high school is considering two different building structures that they're trading on. One is a traditional square metal building. You recognize it from that. Another is a little bit more unique. It's more of reminds you of a tent-like structure. You'll see it buildings like this are all over the country, all over the state. A lot of universities have these positions, even here in Colorado. And that one we're not 100% certain that the city will say yes, you can put that. So we've gone to the city to say, can we put a building like this up, or are you going to force our hand to go to the building? So that is in process. We're probably, I think, weeks away from getting that answer. But construction, like everybody knows, is pretty crazy. This is pretty backed up. It takes time to get an answer. But the hope is in several weeks we'll have that answer. Sounds about right to you, Rick? We don't have an answer back yet from the city.
We don't
on the structure, but soon. Yeah. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks.
So they're here to answer your questions. Make sure that you talk to them about whatever is on your mind. If you want to understand, you want them to explain the picture that's up there, the details. Nicole or Jeff or Mr. Lohmiller would all be glad to talk to you about this, right? All right. Let's stand and join together in our last song, Make Me a Servant. Lord's blessings on your day. Bible class will follow. We're talking about hypocrisy.